Welcome back to another Wuthering Waves video. In this one, we're picking up right at the start of Chapter 2, the Prologue and Act 1. I've played through the full section already, and this video is all about showing what happens, with a little commentary and stuff I noticed along the way. It's not a walkthrough, not a lore deep dive, just the story as it plays out, scene by scene, with my thoughts and some interesting bits I found. So if you're curious about what really goes down in the early chapters, or you just want to chill and watch it unfold, let's get into it. Alright, so here we are back in Wuthering Waves, where the vibes are chill, the enemies are traumatized echo monsters. And I still don't know if my character is a savior, a science experiment, or just very lost. Like, we wake up from a pod in the middle of nowhere. Some hologram says, "Hey, you're important." And now everyone's just cool with that? Imagine waking up in your town and someone hands you a sword and a wolf ghost and says, "Go fix the world." I can't even fix my sleep schedule. Anyway, let's start walking around like we totally know what's going on. If we look confident enough, maybe the world will stop asking questions.
I trust that you've resolved the core issue with the Cetus system. And the Shorekeeper must be connected to it too.
We kick things off at Black Shores, chatting with the Shorekeeper. She gives us a rundown of the region. Something's wrong with the residents, and even the wildlife's been acting weird. It's subtle, but you can feel the tension under her words. Like the city knows something we don't. After that, we meet Alto at the port, who arranges our transport to Renacida. We hop on the liner, and yeah, I thought it'd be a chill ride. I was so wrong. Here's something a little different, not just facts, but the kind of stuff only fans really notice once they sink time into Wuthering Waves. Ever noticed how the echo menu doesn't actually tell you everything about the echoes you collect? Some of them, especially the rarer ones, have subtle sound effects tied to your movement. Like, certain echoes change your footstep audio, or even how your jump sounds. It's such a small detail, but it's Kuro Games' way of making them feel alive. Also, here's a wild fan theory I stumbled across. Some players think the rover, you, basically, isn't human at all. There's a quest later where NPCs avoid answering direct questions about your origin. And if you look at your own echo compatibility, it's too perfect. Like, maybe the rover was created to interface with echoes, not born into the world, built for it. Oh, and speaking of built, have you ever tried just standing still during certain missions? In some places, NPCs will continue their animations, but occasionally they look over at you. Just for a second. It's like the game knows you're watching, and it watches back. Creepy, but genius. Even the UI design has secrets. That ripple effect behind your echo slot? It pulses in sync with Solaris 3's background radiation up, which is actually mentioned in one of the terminal logs. They didn't have to go that hard with the design, but they did. So yeah, while the big stuff like combat and story are awesome, it's these little quiet details that make Wuthering Waves feel crafted, not just made. We barely get a few minutes out on the water before the fog rolls in, and then it shows up. Cetus the Tideraker. This enormous, whale-like taste-set discord just appears, floating above the ship like something out of a nightmare. It doesn't attack directly, but the vibes? Absolutely terrifying. Then echo minions drop in and ambush us. The fight's fast and brutal. It's like the game is telling us, yeah, welcome to Chapter 2, nothing's safe anymore. Alright, so while we're cruising through this next part, I wanted to take a second and just talk about Wuthering Waves in general, because this game is actually kind of insane when you think about everything that's packed into it. First off, the movement system? Absolutely top tier. I don't know about you, But after playing games like Genshin or Tower of Fantasy, I didn't expect this much verticality. Like wall running, double jumps, gliding, it just feels good. It's not just there for show. The game actually rewards you for exploring rooftops and finding weird little spots off the beaten path. There's so many echo crystals and hidden supply caches that you'd never see if you just followed the main road. And speaking of echoes, that whole mechanic is super underrated. Like, these aren't just your typical summons or passive boosts. Some of them completely change how you fight. I've been messing around with Cetus the Tiebreaker lately, that big floating whale. And not only is it a beast in combat, but the echo design is beautiful. You can literally ride some of the mid-attack. Who thinks of this stuff? Oh, and get this. Echoes in this world are actually tied to the Lament, which is this massive disaster that wiped out most of civilization. It's not just some fantasy disease either. It literally warped the laws of reality, like messing with memory, resonance, time, everything. That's why there are these random floating buildings and tech ruins. It's not bad level design, it's the lore. That blew my mind. And while we're here, can we talk about the city designs for a sec? Like Renacida, where we are right now. It's not just futuristic pretty lights. The whole city was built on the ruins of an old one. If you look closely, some areas have this weird mix of ancient brickwork and ultramodern holograms, like a band-aid over the past. The devs really want us to feel that this world is recovering, not just existing. I looked this up the other day. Wuthering Waves took about 4 years to develop. 4 years. No wonder it feels so dense. And they didn't just copy the open world template. They went full sci-fi, gave us a customizable resonance chain system, built out entire factions like the Pioneer Association, and even dropped in philosophical questions like, what is identity without memory? I mean, come on, that's some deep stuff for a gacha game. Also, I don't know if you've noticed, but the NPCs in this game are weirdly reactive. You talk to one, and they'll reference things you just did. Some of them even shift dialogue depending on which quest path you're on. It's those little touches that make me feel like I'm part of something actually alive. Like, yeah, it's still a video game, but it's one of the few that doesn't feel like one when you're in it. And if you're new to the game or just picked it up recently, let me give you a tip. Pay attention to the loading screen more. I know, sounds boring, but those little blurbs actually explain key terms like taysets, remnants, resonance, all that confusing stuff the game kind of throws at you. Trust me, it all starts to click when you connect those dots. Also, total side note, but if you're enjoying this type of chill breakdown, I've got a couple cinematic edits on the channel where I just cut out all the UI and turn Wuthering Waves into like a playable anime. You should check those out after this. It's honestly wild how good this game looks when you take the HUD away. Full-on Blade Runner vibes. Anyway, that's my rant. Wuthering Waves is wild. The liner docks safely in Renacida. We hop off, talk to the gondolier, and Act 1 officially kicks off. The sacred breeze so often breathes. Time to explore the city and unravel what the heck is happening here. You ever notice how in games like this, when there's a long quiet walk or ride, your brain just starts thinking the weirdest stuff? Like, what if Echoes are just Solaris 3's version of Pokemon, but way more depressed? Or what if the rover actually remembers everything, but is just pretending to have amnesia to dodge responsibilities? And let's be real, the way my character jogs slightly faster than the NPCs. It's like I'm forever stuck in that too fast to walk with them, too slow to sprint ahead zone. Immersion ruined by cardio pacing. Also, does anyone else instinctively start bunny hopping during cutscene walks? Just me? Cool. Gamer brain is terminal. Next up, we ride a gondola to Averardo Bank, where we meet Zani. He's smooth, gives us a starter fund, and talks about how the city's funding resonators. Helpful? Yeah. Trustworthy? I'm still on the fence. Alright, while we're moving through this quieter part of the game, let me hit you with some facts about Wuthering Waves. Because honestly, there's a lot more going on under the hood than most people realize. So first off, the install size. On mobile, it starts around 9 to 10 gigabytes. But once you grab the full audio packs and high-res assets, it can go up to about 12 gigabytes. The devs do a solid job with compression, especially considering how good this game looks. Now on PC, you're looking at roughly 18 to 20 gigabytes, though they recommend keeping 30 gigs free so you don't run into update issues. And performance-wise, surprisingly smooth. Even mid-range phones can hit 60 FPS consistently. And if you're playing on PC, you can crank up the settings. Better shadows, increased draw distance, sharper textures. It really shines in open areas and during big combat moments. Now, the reason it all looks this polished is because it's running on Unreal Engine 4. That's a pretty serious engine. Same tech behind games like Genshin and Tower of Fantasy. But Kuro Games' use of it feels really refined. Their lighting design is clean, animations feel tight, and the post-processing during cutscenes, like blur, lighting shifts, even those cinematic zooms. It all adds up to give this game a really premium feel, especially for a free-to-play title. Now let's talk about the devs themselves, Kuro Games. You might know them from Punishing Grey Raven, another flashy, fast-paced action RPG. That game had a huge cult following, and if you played it, you'll instantly feel that same DNA here in Wuthering Waves. The tight combat, the aerial juggling, the perfect dodge mechanics. It's all evolved here into something that feels smoother and more open-ended. But what really hooked me personally? The lore. So Wuthering Waves is set in a world called Solaris 3. It's basically a planet that's been reshaped by an apocalyptic event known as the Lament. And this Lament? It didn't just wipe things out. It literally corrupted the memories and emotions of the world itself. That's why we have creatures like Tayset Discords. They're not just monsters. They're fragments of history, trauma, and emotion that have taken physical form. And then you've got echoes, which I know we all use in combat. But lore-wise, these are impressions left behind by powerful beings or events. They're like memory ghosts turned into tools, which is wild when you think about it. We're literally using the planet's broken memories to fight its corrupted past. That's kind of deep, honestly. Even little things, like the way the world design mixes ancient ruins with futuristic tech. It's not just for aesthetics. It's there to remind you that the world didn't end cleanly. Some people tried to rebuild. Some went underground. Some maybe became the monsters we're fighting now. And here's a detail a lot of people miss. The way NPCs talk, especially in the main quest. They actually hint that there's something off about the rover, the player character. Like we're not just some random amnesiac. There's deeper implications that we've maybe seen the Lament before. Or worse, that we might have caused part of it. There are also clear inspirations from other genres. You'll notice how the dialogue feels more grounded than other anime RPGs. Characters talk like real people. The pacing's slower, but it's intentional. It wants you to pay attention, soak in the tension, and then, bam, you hit a combat section that just explodes with style. And one last thing that really makes me respect this game, it's fully cross-platform. So you can start a session on your PC, close it, and pick up right where you left off on your phone or tablet. That level of flexibility is rare in gacha-based open-world games, especially when the devs don't lock you into daily resin limits like some other titles I won't name. So yeah, while this part of the gameplay is chill, I just wanted to take a second to appreciate what Kuro Game has pulled off here. Great combat, deep lore, actual storytelling, clean visuals, and it runs well even on budget devices. If you're watching this and thinking, yo, this feels different from other gacha games, you're absolutely right. Wuthering Waves is doing its own thing, and honestly, it's doing it really well. We decide to wind down at Trattoria Margherita, and for a second, it feels like we might actually relax. But of course, boom, another echo drops into the street, turning dinner into a disaster. Quick fight, cool backdrop, classic Wuthering Waves chaos.
Thou hast come at last. I am the Imperator. Aid me, O Arbiter, that we may return the lost unto the earthly realm.
The other one's gotten loose. Hey, it's getting away! After it!
Okay, quick mid-game check-in. If you've made it this far, props to you.
Are you alright?
Chapter 2 honestly feels like where Wuthering Waves really starts opening up. The pacing slows down a bit, yeah, but that gives you more time to explore the world, catch weird dialogue, and start seeing how all the factions connect. Like, this whole situation with the Resonator, the Pioneer Association, and these mutated echo creatures, it's more layered than it looks on the surface. And if you've been paying attention to Fullman's little cryptic lines, dude is low-key holding back massive information. I don't trust him fully yet. He keeps acting like he's helping, but half the time he just disappears with it. You'll understand in time vibe. I swear, if we find out he's part of the reason the lament happened, I'm gonna lose it. But anyway, one thing I love is how the game doesn't handhold you with the lore. You kinda have to piece things together yourself. Like, did you notice the statue in that last area? That's not just for show. It's actually a leftover from a pre-lament society called the Intoners. They were supposedly able to control resonance through pure sound, and some believe they're the reason taste set discords exist in the first place. That's not confirmed yet, but it's hinted at in an echo description, and I've been spiraling ever since. Also, real talk, how's everyone doing with the combat now that the difficulty's starting to scale up? Because at first, I was just button mashing through early mobs, but now, you really gotta start thinking about elemental timing and combo chaining. Especially with echo skills, the burst windows are tight, and some of the bosses start punishing you hard if you whiff. I actually lost a fight earlier because I mistimed my dash twice. Learned that lesson real fast. One cool tip I figured out, you can actually cancel certain skill animations early by jump dashing or triggering another echo. It's not mentioned anywhere in the tutorial, but once you get it down, it's like you're speed running your own combos. Try it with Rover's resonance skill and the Phylean echo. It makes your DPS go nuts if you time it right. Also, can we just appreciate the vibe? The soundtrack during city exploration? Fire. Like, low-key I'd listen to that while editing. It has this soft ambient techno feel, kinda like Nier Automata meets Ghibli.
Wonders.
And the lighting.
Welcome to
Every
the
area has
Pioneer
this soft haze like the
Association.
world's been stuck between seasons for years. It gives everything a dreamy look, but it also adds that weird tension, like something bad could happen at any time. And while we're here, let me just throw this in. If you've been enjoying the playthrough, I've got a playlist up with parts and other parts are coming. Also, if you're into lore stuff, I've been working on a deep dive explaining the true meaning of resonance in this game. It's not just about magic powers. There's this theory that resonance is tied to memory itself. Like, if you lose your resonance, you start forgetting who you are. That's why some of these characters feel broken. It's not just trauma. They literally can't remember the parts of themselves that mattered most. Anyway, let me know in the comments if you caught any hidden details I missed. I've been scanning through every terminal and data file I find, but I know this game is full of blink and you miss it stuff. Alright, enough rambling. Let's keep moving. We've still got some big twists coming up.
Ciao, we need to get to...
Got it!
We take another gondola, this time headed toward the Cathedral of Mercy. The visuals here are crazy, soft lighting, peaceful canals, but that uneasy feeling sticks with
Legends
you.
say the Sentinel quelled the storm and stilled the waves, sparing countless lives at sea. To show their gratitude, people place candles around the statue, keeping them lit.
Okay, real talk. I've been playing for a while now, and I still have no idea if I'm the hero. The problem? We're just a very confused and turn with a sword. Everyone keeps saying, you're the chosen one. Meanwhile, I'm out here getting jumped by birds and falling off cliffs. But hey, as long as the game keeps giving me cool abilities, I'll just keep pretending I know what I'm doing. Honestly, at this point, I'm just saying yes to every questline.
Gilberto,
Sure,
how are
I'll
things
fix your
with
city,
trust
defeat
means
your
a lot,
monster,
Priest Alessia.
find your lost cat,
The flower
no memory,
has been
no
quite
clue,
effective.
but vibes? Immaculate. If confidence was a skill stat, I'd be maxed out. Inside the
more
cathedral,
seekers.
we meet Alessio,
What brings
a
you to
lore
these
guy who hits
halls?
us with ancient civilization info, resonance corruption theories, and past world secrets. It's dense, but if you love Wuthering Waves lore, this is where it starts getting deep.
Huh. What's got him so rattled that he's hiding something? We saw Gilberto enter the cathedral with our own eyes. He couldn't have vanished into thin air.
Alright, that's where we're going to leave things for this episode. Now, before I end this, I just want to be completely transparent with you all. A lot of the things I've been talking about in this video, like deeper lore, theories about Fulman, the origin of the ecosystem, even the larger stuff about the Lament and Rover's real identity. Some of that doesn't actually happen directly in this part of the game. This chapter gives us hints, little breadcrumbs, but it doesn't show the full
I
picture
didn't
yet.
expect the Order
Most of
to
what I've
have such
talked
a
about
grand
comes from
garden
piecing
hidden
things
here.
together from outside the
But
core
where could
gameplay,
Gilberto have
like
gone?
reading hidden terminal
Let's split
entries,
up and see what
exploring
we can
optional
find.
side content, even digging into the data logs and developer notes scattered across the community and lore wikis. It's been a bit of a rabbit hole, but honestly, that's what makes Wuthering Waves so fun. It rewards you for being curious, for looking past the surface and asking, wait, what does this really mean? So, if you were watching and thinking, yo, when do we actually see Fulman's true intentions? Or, where's that moment with the corrupted ecosystem?
Did he head that way?
You're not missing anything. Those moments are coming in the later
At the end of
chapters.
the garden.
And I'm going to be covering all of that in the upcoming parts of this series. What we saw in this episode is really the build-up. The quiet before the storm. The
Looks
world
like
is
they're
starting to
slowly
shift.
finding their
People are
way.
acting strange. You can feel something's coming, but you don't quite know what. That tension is intentional, and it makes the next parts hit way harder.
No need to
The next
rush.
chapter picks up a lot of these
I
threads.
too am curious.
We get
to
more
see what
answers about the
truths await
lament,
them.
more background on the Tayset discords. And finally, we start seeing the cracks in Fulman's story. There's a lot more combat coming too, and honestly, some of the boss fights in the second half of this arc are brutal. So I've already started prepping my builds just to survive what's ahead. Also, in case you're wondering why I'm focusing so much on the story, it's because I feel like Wuthering Waves doesn't always get the credit it deserves there. People talk about the movement, the combat, the graphics, which are all incredible. But the story? It's genuinely deep. It's subtle. It's philosophical. And it's constantly making you question what's real, what's memory, and what's just an echo of who you used to be. And I think that's worth diving into, even if it takes some research outside the game itself. So yeah, this video might not have shown everything I've talked about, but consider this part one of a much bigger journey. There's more gameplay, more breakdowns, more cinematic edits, all coming soon. I've got the next part already lined up, and it's packed with story reveals and combat moments that really take things up a notch. Thanks for sticking through the whole thing. This game's got layers, and we're just scratching the surface. Alright, if you've made it this far, you're officially cooler than 90% of my echo drops. So hey, drop a like if you enjoyed it, and maybe subscribe if you want to keep up. I've got an ongoing Wuthering Waves playlist where I'm going through the full story bit by bit. New parts are coming real soon, so stick around. And if there's another game you think I should dive into, throw it in the comments. I'm always down to suffer through. I mean, explore something new. Thanks for watching, and we'll meet again in the next one.